Thousands of rivers and reservoirs are disappearing all over the world. The topic of temperature anomalies has recently occupied the front pages of all the world's media. The planet is literally suffocating from unprecedented heat waves causing thousands of deaths. Large-scale forest fires are forcing tens of thousands of people to leave their homes. For example, new pockets of uncontrolled wildfires continue to appear in the western and southern United States. Extreme heat and strong winds contribute to the rapid spread of the fire. On July 22nd, in California's Mariposa County near Yosemite National Park, a blaze broke out on the forest slopes, which in just a couple of days grew into the largest wildfire in the state of California in 2022, dubbed Oak. The fire was ruthlessly destroying unique forested areas and had already come close to populated areas. Several thousand local residents had to evacuate. For weeks now, due to high temperatures and drought across Europe, forests, mountains, and fields have been burning for weeks. In Greece alone, 40 to 60 wildfires broke out every day. Because of the abnormally hot July, dry grass flares up like gunpowder. Hundreds of residents and tourists have been forced to evacuate to safety. Several people trapped in the fire had to be rescued by water. There was enormous damage to nature and human property. Natural resources of Spain are not spared by the elements. A lot of large-scale fires are raging across the country. Fire has reached the Canary Island of Tenerife. In just 2 days, the fire has burned there more than 2,000 hectares of land. About 600 people were forced to evacuate. A complicated situation with fires has also developed in the Czech Republic. Here, on July 24th, the flames engulfed the country's natural property, the reserve, Czech Switzerland. Roads and the state border with Germany were blocked in the emergency zone. Philippines, July 27th, 2022. The island of Luzon was shaken by a very strong and shallow earthquake. As a result, several people died and about 60 were injured. Landslides have been reported throughout the region. Over the next 4 hours, more than 220 aftershocks were recorded. In total, about 15 provinces were affected by the natural disaster elements. Walls cracked on many houses and buildings, and some of them collapsed. The Philippines is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region of intense seismic activity. Nevertheless, the earthquake was one of the strongest in recent years. Iran, July 22nd. Flash floods hit the southern province of Fars. As a result, more than 20 people died. There are missing people. The flood affected several cities and more than 10 villages. The river Rudbal came out of its banks. The currents of water were so strong that they simply washed away cars. Over the past decade, floods and droughts have occurred repeatedly in Iran. And one natural disaster exacerbates another. When heavy rains fall on sun-scorched land, it leads to more catastrophic flooding. For several weeks now, the people of Pakistan have also been suffering from floods. The death toll during this time exceeded 300 people. More than 6,000 houses were destroyed. Hundreds of families were left homeless. The provinces of Balochistan and Sindh were particularly hard hit. Heavy tropical downpours hit parts of the Indian state of Rajasthan on July 25th. This led to flooding in the city of Jodhpur. The streets have practically become rivers. Houses and buildings were flooded. Missouri, USA. On July 26th, St. Louis received a historic amount of rainfall in just a few hours. This is a new record in the region for the entire history of observations. Flash floods resulted in casualty.
That's the water.
Extreme climate change is challenging humanity as a whole. Already, major waterways are disappearing in virtually every country in the world, and record-breaking droughts are disrupting life and devastating territories on a massive scale. Let's take a look at the facts and examine the causes. The Yenisei River is one of the longest and most full-flowing river in Asia and the world. June 2021. A year ago, the strongest flood in 100 years caused the water levels in the Yenisei to exceed the critical mark by almost 20 centimeters in just one night.
There is no water. It's all gone.
For the first time in 76 years, the water level in the Yenisei has dropped to 45% of normal. The water is receding centimeter by centimeter, leaving in its place dunes that resemble desert landscapes. It is now possible to walk where ships used to go. Due to this, the navigation is disrupted. But during the short Siberian summer, residents of remote areas must use the river to get the food and fuel they need for wintering. Because of the unprecedented drought, farmers lack water, crops are dying. The stock of fodder for animals for winter is under threat. At the Yenisei cascade of hydroelectric power plants, the economy mode has been declared in order to ensure the operation of pumps and to provide residents with drinking water. One of Europe's most populous waterways, the Rhine River, is now also experiencing record shallowing over the past 15 years. The importance of the river is not only in its supply of fresh water. Nearly 80% of the cargo delivered by water in Germany goes through it. This situation leads to economic problems in the country. In neighboring Poland, the lack of rainfall and severe drought has caused the Sand River to shoal critically. It is now possible to cross it by land in some places, while in others, there are only small puddles on the bottom. Italy's worst drought in 70 years has caused the Po River, the country's longest waterway, to shoal. We talked about this and the consequences in more details in the video Famine Threatens Italy. A similar situation is observed on other continents. For example, the Colorado River Basin in North America is also experiencing a mega drought. Lake Mead has shrunk to a record low level in 23 years. Nearly 40 million people are already experiencing difficulties with drinking water and electricity. According to US scientists, water levels in the world's largest rivers have dropped significantly over the past 50 years. Thousands of rivers and reservoirs are disappearing all over the world. Due to water shortages, India is facing water crisis like never before. A natural question arises: where is the water going? Currently, our planet is entering a cycle of planetary cataclysms which occur every 12,000 years. During the cycle, galactic interaction affects the core of the planet, causing the core to become unbalanced, and it begins to jump. Because of this, the planet accelerates its rotation and begins to expand along its equator. Microcracks are formed, and water reservoirs goes down to greater depths. This intake of water by the planet can be compared to an inhale. Right now, the planet is inhaling. Does it mean that at some point it will exhale? The water crisis is something that may become a reality in many countries in the near future. But there is another scenario for the situation. If mankind unites and builds a creative society, we will be able to extract water even from the air and even in the most arid region. Today, mankind has all technologies capable of providing everyone with water and everything necessary. But unfortunately, in the current format of society, these technologies are not introduced on a mass scale.